The financial experts say Social Security, pensions, and other retirement plans are in trouble, and income planning, they say, has become the hottest financial topic. Here with us this morning, J Hansmann from Guardian Financial Advisors. Thanks for being here. How are you today?
Good. How are you, Ashley?
Very good. Thanks so much. Well, let's talk about what people can do today, especially working people, to make sure that when retirement comes around, you have enough retirement income.
That's right. Well, you know, with Social Security having so many problems today and so many pensions that have gone away, it's really up to the working individual to take care of their retirement for themselves. So if hopefully your employer has a 401k, we encourage people to put up to the company match into their 401k. After that, look for some tax-favored or tax-free vehicles. Really, the idea is, Ashley, to kind of begin with the end in mind. Think about when you're going to retire, how much you're going to need, and kind of work the numbers backwards to see what you're going to need to save on a monthly basis, and then reevaluate often.
And I've always heard that, especially when you're out of college and you get that first job, even though you're really not thinking about retirement, you're just thinking about starting to work, that's when you need to start thinking about retirement. Is that the case?
Oh, absolutely. You know, the younger the better. If we can start, you know, like you said, in college, you know, 18, 19, 20 years old and start, you know, funding a Roth IRA or any sort of tax-favored vehicle, the more time that you have on your side, obviously the better that you're going to be off. And you'll have a little bit more time to take a little bit more risk, as opposed to somebody who's a little bit older who just can't afford the same type of risk. But start as young as you possibly can.
I understand, and I hear you there. So let's talk about someone that's had a portfolio for a while. Two different scenarios. What if you have this portfolio, but it's been flat for a few years?
You know, we've seen a lot of that for the last decade, where people haven't made any money for the last 1, 3, 5, 10 years. We call the last decade, you know, the lost financial decade. It's sad, but unfortunately what we see is people have been with maybe their financial advisor for 5 or 10 years or longer, and it's very tough for them to make a change because they're very loyal, which is understandable. But the thing is you have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of your own family versus your financial advisor. So if the plan is not working, there's so many different vehicles to invest in today. You have to get your arms around your portfolio and get a second opinion. Just challenge your advisors a little bit more and more often these days.
And what about if it's been an even worse scenario than just being flat, but you've had losses?
Yeah, terrific. You know, even a better reason to, you know, get a second and a third opinion and ask other ideas and values and morals of what another financial advisor would do for you. Really, more than today than ever, you have to get your arms around the portfolio. You know, the old days of, Ashley, of just kind of a passive portfolio, just throwing money into something and letting it go and, you know, seeing how it was going to look at 3 or 5 or 10 years down the road. That just doesn't work anymore. You have to be actively involved, and you have to be challenging these guys giving you information.
Times have really changed so much. Those who are currently retiring, maybe this year, what should they be doing?
You know, those individuals, I'm very optimistic about the market, but at the same time, you have to be realistic. So for those who are retired, I call this red money. Too many people have money in stocks, bonds, mutual funds. They really need to take a little bit of that money off the table and put it into safer places. So those 18-year-olds we were talking about, they've got time on their side and can take more risk. As you get older into your 60s and 70s, really want to shift that money to more safer places. You'll do just fine. The ones that get burned are the ones who are left in the market.
And the last question I have for you is, how can retirees help their children and their grandchildren as they are thinking about income planning?
Yeah, income planning is huge. It's the hottest topic in the financial world today. Is how do we make sure that we don't outlive money? Well, the two biggest assets that retirees mostly have are their home and their IRA. And the chart that we brought today shows that just Don, an individual who has, let's say, $250,000 in an IRA, he's forced to take IRA distributions in the future. So instead of just leaving a lump sum to children or even grandchildren and that all being taxable, he's going to give away probably 40–50% of that in taxes. So one strategy is to buy life insurance. Take a small portion of that money on a yearly basis. Buy tax-free life insurance. It's guaranteed. I'm not the biggest fan of life insurance, but only when it's guaranteed to help the immediate family or the future generations to come. It's a terrific way to stretch money, not only to help with children and grandchildren with college or with buying a car or their first house, but really setting up their future retirement plans. A lot of people are doing it, and it's time to jump on board.
Well, we've had a lot of helpful information, so thank you for that. J Hansmann, here's all his information with Guardian Financial in Rogers on on Horse Barn Road, Suite 102. Phone number is 479-268-4463 or log on to www.tonyhansmann.com. Tony, thank you.
Thanks, Ashley.
You're welcome. This is 5 Sunday Morning. We'll see you in just a couple minutes.